Court's back in session uh, with the court's announcement docket, which was set at 9 a.m. this morning on today's date on November 3rd of 2021. Next case that we have is cause number 329868. And the case is styled the state of Texas versus Terry Thomas. Mr. Thomas, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, will you raise your right hand? Mr. Thomas, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Thomas?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Thomas. You're here represented by your attorney, Mr. David Grove. Mr. Grove, how are you doing?
Good, Judge. Thank you.
That's good. Mr. Grove, do you waive a record in Mr. Thomas's case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about January 26th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Thomas, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Thomas, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Thomas, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Mr. Thomas, there are a set of initials, TT, on a line next to a box that's checked nola contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, I have another document here. This document is titled the Certification, Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Thomas, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney, Mr. Grove, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and State's Exhibit Number 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibits Number 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Grove, you advised and counseled Mr. Thomas. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None that I'm aware of.
Mr. Thomas, your attorney, Mr. Grove, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt state. Do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
90 days jail, probated over 1 year. $500 fine. And 40 hours community service. And a DWI education course. And a drug and alcohol assessment.
Mr. Thomas, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you will be on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $422. The total fine and court cost is $922. You will be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, and you'll be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll also be required to reimburse Jefferson County for the court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. You'll be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class an initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments that you'll be required to pay, that is the total amount that you would have to pay each month while you're on probation, is $185. Mr. Thomas, will you be able to pay the $185?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 40 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class, and you'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment, and you will also be required to perform or to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Thomas, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, I'll follow your plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Thomas, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney, and you're gonna follow the directions of our court clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank
And,
you, Judge.
and Mr. Grove, this is your only case, so you'll be free to go as well. You excuse,
Thank you, Your Honor.
and you have a blessed day. And let's see.
Pass it down, don't press too forward, but just flat.
Push it down.